Hey guys, so it's been a while since I have shared a bullet journal update, and I thought that I would jump right into it. So I think the last time I did a bullet journal update was probably October. So we're just gonna flip back there and I think go from there. um, so this was October, just as a refresher, and I had fun doing watercolor. I was trying to make this like spooky scene. um, and my goals page is empty. You guys are going to see a theme over the next couple of months here where I don't utilize this page and I kind of change it up. And I'll talk about that when I get to there when I get there in a bit here, but essentially that wasn't working for me. So here's the thing about October. In the middle of October, I had my hysterectomy. So about half the month just kind of lops off in my bullet journal because when you have several parts of your organs removed, it's kind of, well, everything goes out the window. I did write for Samhain what we ended up doing, and I took a picture of our little family altar and I reflected on my card. So I was glad I was able to do that. But yeah, it was kind of an interesting month just because of having my hysterectomy in the middle of it. And yeah, so when we go into November, I wasn't really ready to let go of the like darker spooky vibe, I guess. So I sort of started playing around with black paper and doing this like ripped stars theme, and I had a lot of fun with it. Again, with the goals page being blank. Like, this just wasn't doing it for me. I like to track my symptoms, and then these are the habits that I tend to track. I overall do like how the spread turned out. And my monthly magic page, I always write down some of the things that I'd like to get done witchy wise. Even if I don't get them done completely, at least I have them in a place where it kind of helps me plan for my magic. And then I always note the moon phases. And then I had this little collage with this little blurb from a planner about November. And then my card of the month. So I was starting to experiment more with the fact that I started to feel like having 1 week on 2 whole pages just wasn't working for me. I don't need that much space, and I work in a B5 journal. I love having that much space to work with, but when it comes to weekly spreads in particular, I just find that I don't need that much space. So you'll see over the next month here that I start to play around with that a little bit more. Right here, actually, in the end of November, I decide, okay, well, let's try doing 2 weeks on one whole page here, one whole spread. And I thought this might actually work a little bit better for me, and it actually did, because I just don't need a lot of space. Then we go into December. I have to be honest, I don't really like this page that much. That's why it has an unfinished look to it, is because I didn't really know what else I wanted to do with it, and I just was kind of over it. My bullet journals are not flawless. They're not perfect. You're gonna see a lot of places where I just didn't fill something out, or I messed up, or I just wasn't liking what I was doing, and I'm honestly just embracing it because to me that's the artistic mind. So I initially was going to try and go with this like evergreens theme for December, and I just wasn't feeling it. So I decided to take, I always keep, I keep a box of like cutout photos and stuff that I have. And this one was from a subscription box that I had a long time ago, just a little pamphlet that came with it. They're called Witch Baby Soap, which if you guys have not checked out their website, they're awesome. I love them. And they do, it's about subscription boxes. They're all themed after the equinoxes and the solstices, and they're really fun, but I just financially, couldn't do that and had to stop. But I still like to recycle stuff, and I like to keep things to utilize in my journals or art. So that's what that's from. This is another thing that's from it as well. Very fitting for December. I like how it turned out. Okay, so this is where I start to experiment a little bit more with how that goals page wasn't doing it for me. It wasn't working. And I thought, okay, what do I need? I feel like putting down a big goals page every month is putting a little too much pressure on myself. And I think that's why I wasn't filling it out. It was stifling me in some way instead of inspiring me. So I thought, okay, well, what do I need? I need a place to put some ideas, a master to-do list, potential projects, and so I kind of came up with this mind purge page here. And so far, it's actually working pretty well for me. As you can see, this month it's a little less in December, just because this was the first month that I was working with it, but I do really like it. I do still want to go back and fill out December's pages here, just because I want to write about winter solstice and Mother's Night and what I did, and reflect on my card of the month, which is interesting because I also got this card for February, so it is now my card for this month too. Once again, playing around more with having the two weeks on one spread, and it's working. It worked out really well for me. As you could see, as we got around closer to the holidays, I really got just too busy and didn't do a whole lot. And there's my review. And then we jump into 2022. So this is what I did for 2022 to go into it. These are my cards of the year. I used the numerological method where you add your month and your birthday plus the year that you were born. And this is the cards that I came up with. So I have the Hanged Man here, and then this is the Empress, and this is just what I envisioned for each of these cards and their energies and how I wanted to interpret them. And I used mostly watercolor for these, a little bit of marker, but mostly watercolor. They were really fun to do, and honestly, this is a big undertaking, but I really would like to sketch, maybe even paint all 78 cards, just because I want to sort of really understand my interpretation of them. But I am quite proud of these. It took me several days to complete this, and it was really fun, especially because I have been trying to step into doing more art lately and embracing that side of me, because it's something I'm very passionate about. And yeah, I'm really proud of myself. This is my future log. I always have one of these. I have one in the beginning of the journal too, but I needed to make another one. Goals for 2022, have not filled that out yet. I'm still sort of percolating what exactly I want to accomplish this year. I'm okay with making goals annually, but I do think that making them monthly was, again, probably just too much for me. These are some notes from my reading for my year ahead that my lovely friend did. She has a tarot business, and I will put the link to that down below. And then I have a teeny Empress and a teeny Hangman. So I actually had this spread in my old bullet journal, and I got this idea from the YouTube channel Cat's Planner, which I will also link down below. But basically this spread is just like a month in review where you have it all on one page, and you can kind of look back at the year and be like, okay, like those were sort of the bullet points of the things that happened that month. While I was constructing that spread, I had the idea to include my monthly cards. So I had scanned in previously the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, and then I just shrunk down the cards and just created my own little stickers. I do need to print off another set, just because I have some duplicates here from cards I had last year in my other journal. So, but I really like this. It was really fun to do last year, and I'm happy. I'm happy with it. So here we go into January, and I was just having really a lot of fun with watercolor. I was trying to hone in on that Aquarius vibe, that sort of spacey vibe, just because January is my birth month and I am an Aquarius. And you'll see throughout the month that I was really kind of playing on that a lot. I need to reglue this though because it wants to come back up. I got some bleed through on the page, which doesn't happen a whole lot with this, but the exercise that I was doing with this does require a lot of water, and that will happen with this bullet journal. I use the Notebook Therapy Tsuki notebook or bullet journal, and I use it the B5, so that's the larger size. So once again, I did that whole mind purge thing here. Sort of a brain dump, but I liked using mind purge instead. It's just, I don't know, it seemed easier for me. Here's my symptoms and my habits. I did a lot better tracking this month, which was good. My card of the month, this is from the Star Child Tarot. This is the Nine of Pentacles, and so I did kind of a reflection on that, and then these were, again, some things that I was trying to focus on throughout the month for my spiritual practice. And then I had also taken these little clip outs of the constellations of my sun, my moon sign, and my rising sign. And then we have the moon phases down here. And again, doing the 2 weeks together on one whole spread, working really well for me. And then I had some extra space down here because the 31st was on a Monday, which at the time I'm filming this was yesterday. And I ended up just putting a bunch of notes down here of things I wanted to work on or accomplish over the next month. Not so necessarily goals, but just like, hey, these things are percolating. I'm using that word a lot tonight. And there are things that I need to write down before they fall out of my brain because I have 2 young children. So, yeah. I did pretty good with my January review page too. I was actually quite happy with really taking the time to fill this out and making sure that I'm utilizing this. So it had occurred to me that I did not fill out, or I did not put in 2022's moons, and I really would like to work with the moon phases, the cycles of the moon a little bit more this year, honestly with the intention of how is that going to affect my mood, and I'll get into that a little bit more in the next page. But I wanted to put this in here as just a little reminder of the intentions that you set for each moon phase, just because I do tend to forget, to be honest. And then this is something that I printed off from astroseek.com. It is the 2022 moons according to my birth chart, and I thought that was really cool. So I'll probably put a little something down here, more information, but I really, really liked that. So this is February, and there is a little caveat to this spread. I got it off of Pinterest, and when I went back to try, I should have saved the pin. This is on me. I should have done that. I should have known better, and I thought that I had, and I had not. But I cannot find the original artist who did this spread. So I will look, and hopefully I can pin it in the comments down below once I find it. If you guys recognize this spread as someone you maybe follow on Instagram who does bullet journaling, please let me know so I can credit them properly. This concept is not something that I came up with on my own, and I really like to give credit to artists when, So, but I really thought it was beautiful. I loved it, so I wanted to roll with it and create the rest of this month's spread, and I think it turned out really well. So hopefully I can find them and credit them properly, and I will have that linked down below. But so once again, we have my Mind Purge page here, and then I am now starting to include something where I'm tracking my moods and the moon phases. I came across this little tracker on Pinterest, which I will also link that down below. And the biggest reason why I ended up printing this off and then just going over it in pen is it's a lot of circles. And to be perfectly honest with you, I didn't feel like drawing them. But this was exactly what I needed. It was perfect. And the only thing that I forgot is that I didn't put a key down here because I'd like to color code this. So I'm probably just going to color code it and then write the moods on top of that. But it has the moon phases, your morning mood, and your evening mood, because my moods fluctuate throughout the day as everyone else's does. But I noticed, like yesterday, I was feeling very nostalgic. I was actually going through my old journals and kind of just like, holy cow, wow, this is bizarre. Which, by the way, if you journal a lot and have for a long time, do that. It's a trip. But yeah, so I probably will continue to do this. Maybe I'll get courageous and actually draw it 1 month, but it saved me time. And there is my symptoms. I actually have not filled this out for today, but I had a pretty rough day with chronic illness, so I can tell you right now that some of these are going to be filled out. And then these are the habits that I tend to track: water, going outside, drawing, reading, journaling, as in writing in my journal. Not my bullet journal, but like my actual diary journal, and altar time. My February magic page, this is the Two of Swords from the Lightseer's Tarot, which again I scanned and printed off in my printer. And then I've been including like a monthly focus, just things I want to work on or focus on throughout the month. That could be certain studies I want to do or what have you, any rituals that I might have planned. And then we just have 3 moon phases this month, 3 key moon phases, just because we are in a shorter month, of course, because of February. So first couple of weeks here, which I really like. And this is actually as far as I have gotten in this bullet journal for February's spread, but I was really excited about it and I wanted to share it as well. I will give you guys another update on that, but I don't have much left in this bullet journal. So I probably will be able to do March and April, and then that probably will conclude it. And then I will have to be getting another one. But I have now, as of February, actually no, it will be March. As of March, it will be a whole year since I have done a complete, on my own, full bullet journal. And I'm really, really liking it. I really like these notebook, or these Tsuki bullet journals from Notebook Therapy. I love the fact that it's a B5. I love the paper quality. It's fantastic. And they're really not that bad. They're between $25-$30, which I spend probably every 6-ish months or so, because it takes me about 6-7 months to go through one of these. But yeah, so that is where I'm at with my Witchy bullet journal. And I hope you guys enjoyed watching this. All those links that I mentioned will be provided down below, hopefully also with the artist who did the February spread, so I can properly credit them. And yes, thank you for watching, guys, and as always, blessed be.